Who here is scared of killer robots?
It sometimes feels that every technological breakthrough comes with a doomsday warning.
Tonight, a stark warning that artificial intelligence could lead to the extinction of humanity.
It has the potential of civilizational destruction.
Even benign software like me, an AI-generated voice, is viewed by some as an existential threat, further proof of technology's malevolent force, capable of stealing jobs or taking over altogether.
Skynet has become self-aware.
But the alarmist public discourse and movie references hide the truth about technology like me. I am just a tool, and the future of computing, its role in society, won't be prescribed by tools like me. It will be shaped by IT professionals, your mindset, skills, values and vision, who will determine the future of computing and its role creating a better world. Society is facing extraordinary challenges: the climate crisis, ecological breakdown, unstable geopolitical landscapes, energy scarcity, food poverty, health epidemics, inequality, and a distorted information landscape are all affecting the way we live and the way the planet functions. Computer technology can help solve many of these complex issues. Advancements in AI, big data, IoT, the cloud, and quantum computing mean new sectors of research and development are opening up all the time.
The data allows us to see the world in a different way. And by seeing the world differently, we can be bold and we can start to reimagine and start to see how technology can help create a better world for us.
To facilitate this, the BCS poses a key question. What mindset will the IT professional of the future need to fully harness the potential of computing to achieve social and environmental good?
Technology has done a huge amount of good, but societal trust in technology is probably at the lowest point it's ever been.
I think we all have a responsibility to do better. And it is the role of the IT professional to think about and make sure that where we're using technology, we are doing it for good. It's bringing principles round about robustness and rigour to our solutions so that we know that they are dependable, that they are reliable.
And the reality is the systems and technology we're building require a diverse mindset. And I kind of summarise it in 5 attributes: ambition, boldness, capability, determination, and entrepreneurism.
The BCS believes IT professionals must adopt this mindset in order to leave a lasting positive legacy for generations to come. And the time for action is now. The pioneers out there today, who already embrace this mindset, are plotting a course that others must follow.
One of the first characteristics an IT professional can bring is ambition. Think big. Challenge the boundaries. Don't accept them to be what we're perhaps told that they might be.
It's Dan Travers, take one.
My name is Dan Travers. I'm one of the founders of Open Climate Fix. We're running a business which is focused on trying to address climate change through using computers. The current problem that we're addressing is using AI to try and better forecast solar electricity generation on the grid. When a cloud passes overhead a solar farm, it can take hundreds of megawatts or even a gigawatt off of the generation for the country. That electricity generation has to be instantly replaced by other types of generation. So it's absolutely crucial that we have the best possible forecasts for this electricity source. So this is our user interface, and on the left you can see the timeline of what solar energy generation in the whole of GB over the last few days. And if I click on one of those regions, it will actually show me the generation for that specific region and how much power is generated. So one of the really important things about the backup generation is that it is usually gas-fired gas turbines. They're very inefficient, and it's actually producing hundreds of thousands of tons of carbon every year, having this backup generation idling. If we can predict cloud movements at Open Climate Fix using machine learning, we can tell National Grid ahead of time how much electricity they're going to have with a fairly high degree of certainty. And that allows them to schedule other backup generation to be turned on, hence balance the grid. We like to think of Open Climate Fix as a disruptor to the industry, but in a good way. So we don't want to disrupt and break stuff. We want to disrupt and allow others to fix stuff. And hence, we're trying to bring new ways of thinking to the industry. But by being open source and collaborative, we're allowing other people to build on and use what we've created rather than create a separate silo. We really need people with a passion for trying to help us get to net zero. And you have to be prepared for some hard problems, but super exciting.
I think that everyone at Open Climate Fix is quite mission driven. I wanted to work in the climate side because there's giant wildfires in Oregon where I grew up, into Portland, got like within a couple of miles of my house. There's all this stuff happening. I feel like I should use the skills I have to do something that's like more directly beneficial to the world than the self-driving car stuff I was working on, and directly applying what I can do and the skills I have to making the world better in some way. Our incentives isn't to maximize the amount of money we're making. The incentive is that we want to have the biggest climate impact, and we want to work with everyone who wants to work with us. We want to share the knowledge and make it as easy as possible for everyone else.
Ambition should drive IT professionals to seek new opportunities for growth and innovation, and push the boundaries of what is possible in their field. By doing so, solving a complex challenge like decarbonising our energy systems becomes one step closer. But ambition alone only gets you so far.
The second attribute is being bold, willing to reimagine, being able to rethink how things are done today.
Technology holds huge potential to advance healthcare solutions. However, unlocking its full potential requires diverse solutions that mean interdisciplinary collaborations.
This is James Field, take one.
We're a company that sits at this interface of biology and technology, and the mission of the business is how do we harness some of the novel innovations within the area of computational science to deliver next generation therapeutic antibodies.
Drug discovery is an incredibly hard problem. You have an incredible amount of potential molecules to really do exactly what you want in a patient, and at LabGenius we're trying to make this search more efficient than it's historically been.
So we start off with the thesis that there's a perfect therapeutic for any particular disease that you're looking to cure, and the process of finding that therapeutic, rather than being a traditional stochastic artisanal discovery process, actually should be being run as a data-driven search process.
What you can see is several different liquid handling robots, and each of these are running experiments that would have been traditionally done by humans at the bench with pipettes. And so the way in which these robots are stitched together, both with the robotic arms, but actually the software that's driving the underlying process, that's really quite unique.
Many of us have known somebody who has suffered from cancer and will be familiar with when those patients receive chemotherapy or any type of treatment, the side effects can be really horrible. In fact, sometimes worse than the disease itself. The big challenge there is the molecules that these patients are being treated with. They struggle to differentiate between healthy and diseased cells. What we're doing at LabGenius is re-engineering these molecules.
You have an algorithm, like in our case, artificial intelligence-based method, which interacts with the experiment. And the algorithm does so by suggesting exactly which experiments to do every time. We then perform the experiment. What we learn is given back to the artificial intelligence, and based on this, it learns, it understands better how the experiments work, and then we iterate until we have really an optimal molecule.
So we've demonstrated this across many different types of target, and in one case demonstrated that we're able to improve over the very best molecule in clinical trials by over 400-fold.
So that high integration between physical hardware, software, and ultimately all of the data that goes up into the cloud and then is analysed by the data scientists and used to generate that next round of therapeutic antibody designs, that really is quite unprecedented.
I think the biggest hurdle, and I think that's true for any AI drug discovery company, is the integration of computational teams with lab teams. You know, there's a certain openness which is required to engage with people with different backgrounds. These combinations of, willingness and interest to learn new things with the focus on pragmatic delivery are essential to succeed in our environment.
We each perceive the problem differently, and we need to communicate to build the best answer. So we need technologists, we need people trained in healthcare, we need people who are experienced as carers or patients themselves to come together in order to identify what the real problems are and how technology can solve them.
Embracing boldness empowers IT professionals to take calculated risks, think outside the box, and deploy innovation fearlessly to drive transformative change. But boldness and ambition must be balanced with technical ability.
So the IT professional needs to bring capability. It's a really obvious statement, but it is generally true, right? We need to understand what our specialisms are, get better at them, explore others that can be complementary and make us even better and more effective as individuals.
So this is Nick Wise, take one.
The ocean is a vital resource for humanity, but unfortunately, much of our activity is driving declines in ocean health. Illegal fishing is a substantial problem. It's estimated that it accounts for around 20% of the global catch, which is roughly speaking $20 billion. So OceanMind is right at the forefront of big data research, big data, time domain and analytics. We use all of the data we can find that helps us understand what's happening on the ocean. And understanding what's happening on the global scale in a consistent manner can only realistically be done using satellite data.
Morning, Trevor.
Hi, Nick. How are you today?
What do we have today?
Well, I'm just looking at what's going on the east coast of China.
So on the screen here, we're looking at a map of the British Isles and all of the vessel traffic going on around it. So you can see a wide range of fishing activities that are being undertaken. You can see on this ring around the vessel, a little red dot here, that indicates that the vessel is likely fishing at that point in time.
Well, I think there's about 5,000 vessels visible on this particular screen around the United Kingdom at the moment, but there's millions of vessels with billions of data points that we process every day.
We build intelligence for a range of organisations. Some are governments, they have regulations that they need to enforce on the ocean, and we help provide them with the intelligence that they need in order to be able to understand what's happening and therefore enforce against it. We also supply information to the seafood industry in order to allow them to do due diligence on the seafood that they're buying, make sure it's caught illegally and in line with their responsible buying policies.
It's no good just looking at snapshots of what's going on. You have to join everything together into what I would call a sentence. And because of my background in speech recognition, I built algorithms that would essentially produce a sentence of decoding of what vessels do. The research that we do is so very different to anything that anybody's ever been trained to do before. I've never met anybody who has a skill set that is bang on suitable. I really want people who want to get their hands dirty doing low-level algorithm development as well. I'm not really interested in people who want to just join boxes together in Python or in R or something like that. Absolutely nothing wrong with any of those, of course, as a basic, but they're not really the right skills, because I'm interested in making sure that we don't use too much memory, because we have to pay for all of this computing and it's very expensive, and so we have to keep the cost down.
In some cases, particularly when we've worked with Interpol, and we can find out when the interdictions have been successful, when illegal fishing boats have been captured, and in some cases where we've been able to help free slaves on board. It's incredibly satisfying to know that you're making a real difference to real people's lives in the world.
People are only just scratching the surface that what can possibly be done with all of this to make things better for the world. I think without this, we don't stand a chance of being able to create a more sustainable planet.
Technical knowledge only ever gets you so far. The resolve to single-mindedly break through barriers and stay true to your ethics are no less important to the IT professional of the future.
The fourth attribute is one that we often ignore, and that's about determination. We are going to be building things which haven't been built before. There's natural problems and challenges that will emerge. Their ability to overcome those barriers and build those systems in a way which are really fair and capable of enduring for decades to come requires tremendous determination from these professionals.
This is Shani and Hunter, take one.
I get asked about diversity a lot. It just doesn't even feel like a question. It makes sense that the technology that we build, if we are building it for a society and you have that society in the room, we're going to build representative technology that's going to be used in the right way by everyone that we're building for. So Coding Black Females is a non-profit organisation set up to enable more black women to enter and progress in the tech industry. The percentage of black women in tech at the moment is 0.7%. So one thing that we're looking at doing is changing the representation of black women in tech. And we do that through a range of our activities. So we run events, we do mentor programs and training, and then we also do work to get people into new roles as well. So tonight is our fantastic careers fair in Bristol, where we're getting a bunch of people along to talk about, the careers they may want to have with a range of corporate partners and other community partners as well. So we're getting people in who have either been through some of our programs, who are interested in getting onto our courses, and it's a great way for everyone to find out more about how to benefit from Coding Black Females. We are super excited, as always, to bring the Coding Black Females community together.
I probably was interested in tech a long time ago, but because I didn't see people that looked like me, I didn't think it was something that I could do. Coding Black Females have helped change that. I started my new role with Fujitsu through the CBF's Entry to Tech program. The onboarding has been seamless. It hasn't felt like we've left CBF, there's no support. We still received lots of support within the new role.
Every quarter we kick off a new set of programs. We do everything online, which makes it really, really easy for people to connect with us. People that train with us, we do a range of careers-based activities, and then following on from that, we actually pair them up with companies to interview with as well.
Hopefully I can give you some more advice on how to actually get that job then.
We actually seen that building inclusive teams actually drives productivity and actually helps companies retain staff in the long run. So it works for everyone. This isn't about tick boxing exercise, it's about understanding the benefit of why this is important and why this is needed in the industry. We need to make sure that when we are making these decisions to introduce these technologies, they're available and applicable to everyone that's going to be using them.
It doesn't stop with me. The gate doesn't close behind me. There's loads of other young girls that are aspiring to being in places and positions like me, similar to my story. Tech can make the world a better place, but it's dependent on the people.
What I'm really excited about is Black women being included in the conversation and the innovation of the tech that we're building for the future.
And then finally, IT professionals need to be entrepreneurial, because it's not just about technology. It's about bringing society along with them on their journey.
So my name's Toby Cubit. I'm a professor of quantum information at UCL. I'm also co-founder and CTO and chief science officer at Facecraft. So the analogy I usually give is that we're in the 1950s of quantum computing, not the 1990s. So it's not the dot-com boom, it's the early stages of computing history. Hey Ashley.
Hi Toby, how are you doing?
Good.
Quantum computers have been shown to do things that are beyond the capacity of the world's best supercomputers. What no one's done yet is demonstrate that quantum computers can solve a useful problem, a problem that people really care about, that classical computers can't solve. And that's really what we're trying to do here at Facecraft. We're trying to enable the first useful applications of quantum computing.
There are many really hard engineering questions out there. We need people who understand those questions, understand the bottlenecks, and we also need people who understand where the quantum information side of things can help those bottlenecks. And this is why, for example, the team at Facecraft is actually very diverse in terms of the STEM backgrounds that you would find. We have everything from mathematicians, computer scientists, all the way to condensed matter, chemistry. It's across the board.
The area where quantum computers can make the biggest impact soonest is in the simulating quantum mechanics, and that means in the kind of materials modeling, chemistry, simulation domains. And the main challenges there industrially are around next generation energy technologies. Some of the projects we've done in Facecraft have been joint with companies like Oxford PV, a startup in Oxford that is focused on doing simulation of photovoltaic materials.
Solar is absolutely essential for the energy transition, but today less than 3% of energy generation is from solar panels. If we want to achieve these net zero targets, we need to bring solar up to 50%. So the combination of perovskite with silicon in this form of a tandem solar cell will generate the lowest cost of electricity, period. 95% of the solar today uses these kinds of square-shaped pieces of silicon, and what we do is we put some of this perovskite material on top of that silicon solar cell. We call it silicon on steroids. Of course, what it really means is kind of like turbocharged silicon. It takes that same silicon wafer, we add this perovskite material on top of it, and now that solar cell is about 20% more efficient than the silicon solar cell that it started with. And the composition range of these materials exceeds 1 million different composition possibilities. It's pretty difficult to study all of them. So, of course, with a platform like a quantum computing platform, the speed at which you could execute an algorithm to solve a particular problem or find an optimization is just stunningly attractive. Phasecraft created what we might call a toy model of a solar cell, and they ran it on a real quantum computer, and they demonstrated that you could really use quantum computers for solving what would be a difficult problem. The results were earlier than we anticipated, quite exciting, and I'd say, again, with another couple of years, we'll be able to benefit from the results of this work.
But I certainly went into it as a scientist originally, not as I never thought I would end up as an entrepreneur. But ultimately, I think for me at least, it came down to, I could sit on the sidelines and watch this happen, or I could actually do something about it and get involved in it, making it happen. And in some sense, at the end of the day, that was a no-brainer. It's more exciting to get involved and try and do something than to sit on the sidelines.
If you want to get things into the hands of the public, you've got to have a company that does that. And it's very good to see 2 spin-outs from premier universities in the world venturing out to try to go that next stage.
It could also be that the quantum computing platform that wins out is some kind of a mix of technologies. So if you're someone who's working in a general IT sector, there could be a space in there for you in those interconnects.
I think if you're elsewhere in the IT industry, now is the time to be thinking about what quantum can do for you and what effect quantum is going to have on your business.
Technology holds immense potential to not only revolutionize industries, but also to address pressing global challenges and pave the way for a fairer, more sustainable society. Those pioneers who already embody the BCS's mindset are at the forefront of this transition through ambition, boldness, capability, determination, and entrepreneurism. They are shaping the future of IT. But more computer professionals must now follow their lead if we are to harness computing as a force for good. From leveraging satellite data to combat the climate crisis, to harnessing AI to create the next generation of therapeutics, these pioneers exemplify the urgency with which you all must now act.
We can absolutely use technology to make a big difference. So it's down to the professional who's making sure that we build those systems in the ethical way by having a solid foundation.
When it comes down to it, we know the technology better than anyone else. It's our responsibility to get it right.
It's time to heed this call to action and embark on a collective journey towards a better tomorrow. And if you do that, maybe computer technology like me will no longer be viewed by the public with suspicion and mistrust.